Last week, I covered a record number of contract cancellations, and this week, someone sent me an article where Florida is leading the nation in foreclosures. Foreclosures are up, contract cancellations are up, days on market are up. So many people have been predicting a market correction, and are we finally going to get one?
How about no?
That's right. In my opinion, there's really going to be not even a teeny tiny little market correction. You know, the market is much softer. We're talking about long-term drops in housing prices, and that just hasn't happened. And rates are going to be lower as we go through this year and next year. When we look at rates currently, we finally got another dip here. Now we're closer to 6.25%. Yeah, not a big move, but again, this is trending lower. And I actually did a video at the beginning of the year predicting rates at 6.25 to 6.375 by the end of the year. It wasn't aging all that well in the beginning of the year as rates shot back up. But now I'm feeling pretty confident about that prediction. Now here's some people who actually have no care what rates are, and that's these are the most expensive U.S. home sales in September. And Ellen DeGeneres sold her house for $85 million. I thought this was interesting. Probably doesn't affect a lot of people watching this video, but this was the top 10 sales in September as far as the highest. And if you're wondering what's the most expensive U.S. home for sale in 2025 so far, it's in Naples, Florida, and it sold for $133 million in April. And then another one in LA for $110 million. You can see a lot of these in California, Miami, and Hawaii, and New York, which obviously makes sense. Now that may be fun to look at, but for us normal people, things like foreclosures or market conditions and days on market do matter when we're looking to buy a house. So Florida is leading the nation in foreclosures, just like I said in the beginning of the video. So this was an article, U.S. foreclosure rates by state in September of 2025. Florida, number 1, Delaware, number 2, Nevada, number 3, Indiana, and you can kind of see the rest of the list here. This is the top 10. And when we look at Florida again, this big list, we are number 1. So 1 in every 2,182 homes in foreclosure, and that's up 24.42%. What's important about that stat is that's a stat that's going to get thrown around, is that foreclosures are up 25%, which is obviously relevant, but we need to look at compared to what? Because if you have 1 of something and you get 2, that's a 100% increase, but in most things, 2 is not a lot. So we want to look at, are foreclosures meaningfully on their way up, especially compared to other big events like the 2008 crash. I did look at this, I found this really cool map that showed back in 2008 where all the foreclosures were happening, the percentages, 2.75 to, I'm going to move this up a little bit, 2.75 to 4.12% in Florida. So we were leading the nation back then as well. But this was a 3 to 4% foreclosure rate, where now we're really under 0.5%. So when we want to look at compared to what, this is U.S. properties with foreclosure filings. And yet, even though we are moving up, look how we are compared to 2008, right? They were up to a massive amount of foreclosures compared to where we're at now. And even if we look at completed foreclosures, we can still see fairly flat, right? I mean, obviously we're going up when we look at when rates were super low and there was a moratorium on foreclosures. So yeah, we are drifting up from there. And we look at, I thought this was interesting, I have no idea why, but what are the average days to complete a foreclosure? In 2008, they got them streamlined, right? They were just doing so many of them, but it did go up and up as more houses went into foreclosure. And right now it's running about 600 days to complete a foreclosure. Some states probably pulling that average up that make it much more difficult. And really, foreclosure is not really playing a big role in the market. I have some friends that buy houses at the courthouse, county steps, and buy foreclosures and play in that world. And there's not a lot of deals to be had. And in that world, you better know what you're doing, because you can get hurt really easy by overpaying for a property anytime you're doing a flip. And so I'd say foreclosures at this point meaningfully going up compared to where we were, not meaningfully going up compared to kind of the big scheme of foreclosures, and again, compared to what? Now, something that is moving up, and as an investor that I like to pay attention to, is average days on market. And this is an article from Axios out of Tampa Bay talking about Florida homes sit on the market for months. And they've got this map, this kind of heat map showing where houses are staying on the market the longest. So right now, the national median is 47 days. but homes in Florida spent a median of 79 days. And again, not only are we leading the nation in foreclosures, we're also leading the nation in record contract cancellations, and at the same time, we're probably highest as far as days on market to almost 80 days. And that's something that if you're looking for a home is a good indication of if there's a good deal for that particular property, right? Because at the end of the day, if the seller's been selling the house for 30, 60, 90 days, they're either not going to sell their house or they're going to get way more flexible. Now, some sellers haven't came to grip that the market has changed. And if you are a seller and you're watching this, you better have your house in tip-top shape if you want to get the most you can for it. Otherwise, seller or buyers are going to negotiate you down. They're going to ask for repairs, price discounts, and even seller concessions, paying for closing costs and everything else. I just did a flip and we had to do the whole kitchen sink. Lots of repairs, lots of stuff I didn't think needed to be done, and pay all the closing costs and buy the rate down. And as a motivated seller, you do what you got to do. So days on market is something that's impacting the market. And if rates fall, which are likely to do, that days on market is going to throttle back. And already, like in our market in Oviedo, there's a lot of competition when people go to buy houses, especially the really, really good ones. And that's why I always say, don't time the market. This is a really, really good opportunity to actually be out looking to buy a house. Before, let's say rates were 5%, I guarantee you the activity would be much, much higher. Now, how low will rates get to by the end of next year? Nobody knows. I personally think, and we'll see how well this ages, that I think we will hit the mid fives for sure by the end of the next year. I don't have a crystal ball mine in the shop, but that's what I think. Then last but not least, as far as where Moody's, I did something similar last week. Forecast expects home prices across 378 housing markets all the way through 2035. And spoiler, Moody's, like everyone, is predicting 2 to 3% increases a year, meaning like everyone else, the market is predicting small amounts of appreciation, 2 to 3% a year for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And no one knows for sure. And if rates fall faster than people think, that increase could go up. Meaning affordability is where it's at. Lowering rates will increase or make affordability better, but will also increase competition, and maybe that will drive prices up. We're going to track all this information and more. One of the things that we are doing some classes on is ChatGPT. A lot of people are using ChatGPT like Google, where they're asking a question, but they really don't know how to write real prompts that change the way they do business. If you'd like any information on that, loan programs that can make you money in 2025 and 2026, or you just want to talk about the market or how we can work together to create a daily success plan. Those are what I'm really passionate about. I love to see people win. When we all win together. Anyways, this is Rayce Robinson, your favorite Florida mortgage broker. Have a great day, great week, and I'll talk to you soon.